and welcome, Aquarius here, back with another video, and today we are looking at yet again another healer build video. Now today is a little bit different of a build video because it involves a hatchet, but not in the way that you would typically use a hatchet as a healer. As always, before we fully get into today's video, I do just want to say if this video helps you out, or if you just like it, please drop it a like. It really helps me out a lot. And if you want to see more content like this, including more build videos, loot videos, stuff like that, definitely subscribe to the channel so you do not miss any of those new videos coming out. I also stream throughout the week on Twitch as well as YouTube, so definitely stop by stream, say hello, lurk, anything like that. We would love to have you. But let's get into today's video. Alright, as always with our build videos, we're going to start with the gear. So this gear set is pretty much the exact same as what I wear with most all of my healer sets. So if you have seen the previous videos, this is going to look really familiar, but I'll go through it really quick. So we do wear a Sporelight mask with physical version refreshing health. We have the nimble coat for our chest piece, works really well with the extra 2 stacks of refreshing. And then with the pants, I have the Vigor, Refreshing, Fortifying, Sacred Ground. And then the boots I do need to replace with Elemental Version and Refreshing Divine Embrace. And hopefully I can reroll to try to get another third perk that's a little bit better. And then for the gloves, this is where the change came into play for this build. So with the gloves, I went with Refreshing Distancing Throw, Elemental Version, and then Thrust Conditioning ended up rolling into it, which wasn't all that bad. I don't really mind. I do have a lot of thrust protection as is, so adding a little bit more definitely doesn't hurt. But the Refreshing Distancing Throw is not necessary, so don't feel like you have to get this perk, but it will help a lot, and I'm going to show you why later on in the video. As for the jewelry, same jewelry I've been wearing, the Health, Divine, Thrust Protection, Hardy, Sacred, Nature Damage for the ring, and then Fortifying Toast, Refreshing Toast, and Nimble for my earring. Now, this earring you can definitely wear, various different earrings depending on what you want. I always like Refreshing Toast and Nimble personally. I don't like to stray away from that too often, but I know that you could definitely do like Endless Thirst and stuff like that if you were trying to get, an artifact for your jewelry. That would probably be the best one for you if you're going to run one. As for the weapons, I'm still running the same life staff with the Purifying Breeze, Blessed, and Refreshing Move. Works really great for me. I haven't changed it up. If it's not broke, why fix it, right? So it's been working great. I still run it all the time. And then, as you can see, we are running the Freya's Hatchet. Freya's Hatchet is a very interesting artifact. I honestly didn't think I was going to have any use for it personally. The main perk on it, though, is the Thrown Axe projectiles reduce all axe skills by 25%, all the cooldowns. So if you take that into account and consider the glove changes with Refreshing Distancing Throw, you can kind of see what I'm getting at here. And I'm going to show you later in the video kind of what that looks like when you actually land that social distancing. For the third perk, I ended up adding Enchanted. And then also, as you can see, the Freya's also gets Refreshing Move. So you have a lot of cooldown reduction with this hatchet. And then if you throw the gloves on top of it, your social distancing is like crazy cooldown. So this is what we're looking at for the gear. Next, we're going to take a look over at the attributes really quickly and then get into the mastery specifically on the hatchet itself. All right, so taking a look over at the attributes here, you can see it's a pretty standard layout for what I normally run. The only difference is right now I happen to have a 36 con food going. I ran out of the 48 con food in my last OPR, and this is just kind of what I had going, so I had to respec it and stuff. But depending on what foods you have and what foods you're using and all that, and then what attributes your armor has, you may have a little bit different layout as far as like your equipment, your item buffs, stuff like that. But I always shoot for 200 con, the rest in the focus. You could definitely do more con if you feel like you need it, but 200 seems to work really well for me. And then the focus usually is around 400 or a little bit more if I'm using the 48 con food. Okay, so next we are going to take a look over at the mastery. Very briefly, we're going to go over the life staff build. As you can see, it is my Beacon, Sacred Ground, and Divine Embrace build. It works really well for the targeted heals. The Beacon is kind of nice. You can throw it on your bruisers, let them run in. Obviously, Sacred is pretty standard for most builds. So this is kind of what I've been running. Works really well. So you can take a look at that, kind of pause the video, take a look, see if you want to copy it, or whatever healing build that happens to be working for you, definitely go with it. But let's get into the hatchet here because the hatchet is the primary focus. And as you can see, it is all throwing. It is a full throwing mastery build, and I really like it. I like it more than I thought I was going to. Now, You are a healer with a hatchet. You are not going to be doing crazy amounts of damage with the hatchet, but it is not bad. I would say like try to work your cooldowns a lot more with the hatchet as opposed to trying to just DPS with it. But this is what I do for the build, and then the only perk that I dropped on the right tree is on fire, so every third thrown hatchet hit is a guaranteed crit. I didn't really care about that. Instead, we went with the after 3 successful light attacks or aim throws against the same target, gain Empower, granting a 20% damage increase for 3 seconds or until the next attack. So then if we are just kind of left-clicking in our Sacred or something, then we get a little bit of extra damage output from it. So I did prefer that over this one, but otherwise I went with every other perk on the throwing tree, and it's been working really well for me, surprisingly. All right, so we're going to take a look over at the hatchet here, and real quick, I'm going to go over the 2 cooldown reductions that we're looking at. So first is the refreshing distancing throw. So social distancing attacks within 6 meters reduce the cooldown by 25%. So that's a pretty massive cooldown as is. But then we are stacking the thrown mastery. So thrown axe projectiles reduce all axe skill cooldowns by 25%. Well, you can proc that within the same ability. So what I mean by that is make sure we're within 6 meters here, we're 3 meters. And when we throw this hatchet, let's first start with just from range. I need to actually burn a cooldown really quick. So you can see that cooldown reduction, but there we go. 13 seconds on the social distancing cooldown. All right, so keep that in mind, 13 seconds. Now what we're going to do is move within 6 meters here, and we're going to use social distancing again. So now within 6 meters, we have the 25% reduction over on the social distancing, as well as the reduction on our hatchet itself. And watch that cooldown reduction now. 4 seconds. So you cut your social distancing down from 13 seconds to 4 seconds. On top of that, when we look at the cooldown reduction on the hatchet, it has a 5-second cooldown. So you have to wait 5 seconds before you can get that reduction. Well, if our cooldown is already 4 seconds, we only need to survive 1 extra second, and then we get it again. It's pretty much instant. As you can see, you can just keep doing it. So if someone keeps chasing you, right there, I hit it slightly too early. Literally like a millisecond too early. So it can be a little bit tricky if something like that happens. But if someone is chasing you and they're burning through their cooldowns to try to catch you, you will have your cooldowns to continue running. They get it back, you can keep throwing that. Now, obviously you do need to land it, but like let's say we miss, we do have that much of a cooldown reduction still. So all you want to do is if you miss that social distancing, so again, let's miss it, then you get that cooldown anyways. So it's not as big of a cooldown, obviously, but go like that. And the reason why it's a bigger cooldown is because you're not only proccing the 25% cooldown reduction, but you also have the refreshing moves. So you're getting an extra 2.5. So you're at pretty much a 27.5% cooldown reduction. So if you do miss, just land 1 attack. And then you just have to survive a little bit longer, but 1 attack and you'll get it. Now, if you have the room to be able to utilize a couple refreshing moves, that helps a lot. But honestly, like working around the 25% is a lot bigger. And then same deal, within 6 meters, then we get both of those cooldowns. So really, really nice for escaping. It's fantastic. Also, if someone's trying to run away from you, you could do the same thing. Just hold W when you do it so you don't go backwards. But you could chase someone and continually keep trying to get them. Now, I do think as a DPS, you could utilize this as well. But for a healer, I'm using it as more of an escape. For DPS, you actually could utilize this to go and attack people. So for throwing hatchet, it is fantastic. I really, really do like it. I was surprised that I liked it, but yeah, it's worked really, really well. And in the gameplay clips coming up here, you're going to see me actually utilizing it to escape from a situation that I probably should have died in, but we got away from it. So let's go take a look over at some gameplay of this build in action in some OPR. All right, that is going to do it for today's video. So thank you very much for watching. I do appreciate it. This build has been really, really fun to play. It is not my main build. It's not one that I play absolutely all the time, but on occasion it is very fun. It's just different. You have a lot of functionality with the rending throw, the infecting throw, and then obviously the social distancing with the cooldown is kind of crazy. So overall, you're able to help your team a lot. You're able to help kind of push individual people. You're able to appeal for yourself in some ways. So it has been fun. It's just very different. And obviously, most healers that run Hatchet are going to have Berserk, maybe even Defy Death. This is something that's just kind of way outside of what most of what I've seen for a healer Hatchet type of a build. And I've been having an absolute blast with it. So hopefully you do too. Definitely try it out, because if you have this artifact, you might not necessarily have an exact build for it, but this is what I found is the most fun for me to run with this specific Hatchet / artifact. But that is going to do it for today's video, so until next time, I'll see you guys later.